Hello, welcome to Shared Reading. We are continuing our story in Holes. So, to recap the story so far, I want you to remember that Stanley was sent to a detention center for a crime he didn't commit. His lawyer can help get him out after facing the warden, but Stanley won't leave without Zero. The warden accuses Stanley of stealing her belongings. Stanley follows his lawyer's advice and does not open the suitcase, even with the warden yelling at him. Stanley is refusing to leave without Zero, and Stanley's lawyer asks to see Zero's file. So that's where we are. We're at right away. I'm going to jump in after the lawyer asks to see the file for Zero. Today, as we read, we're going to gather key events happening in the story. We're also interested in the characters and how they add to the story. We're looking at their actions, their thoughts, and what they're saying to help analyze them and to see how they interact with each other. She looked at him blankly. Well, the warden turned to Mr. Pendenski. Bring me Hector Zeroni's file. He stared at her. Get it, she ordered. Mr. Pendenski went into the office. He returned a few minutes later and announced the file was apparently misplaced. The Attorney General was outraged. What kind of camp are you running here, Miss Walker? The warden said nothing. She just stared at the suitcase. The Attorney General assured Stanley's lawyer that he would get the records. Excuse me while I call my office. He turned back to the warden. I assume the phone works. He walked into the camp office, slamming the door behind him. A little while later, he reappeared and told the warden he wanted to talk to her. She cursed, then went inside. Stanley gave Zero thumbs up. Caveman, is that you? He turned to see Armpit and Squid coming out of the rec room. Squid shouted back into the rec room, Caveman and Zero are out here! Soon all the boys from Group D had gathered around him and Zero. Good to see you, man, Armpit said, shaking his hand. We thought you were buzzard food. Stanley is being released today, said Mr. Pendenski. Way to go, said Magnet, hitting him on the shoulder. And you didn't even have to step on a rattlesnake, said Squid. Even Zigzag shook Stanley's hand. Sorry, but, Yeah, it's cool, said Stanley. We had to lift the truck clear out of the hole, Zigzag told him. It took everybody in C, D, and E. We just picked it right up. It was really cool, said Twitch. X-Ray was the only one who didn't come over. Stanley saw him hang back behind the others a moment, then returned to the rec room. Guess what? Said Magnet, glancing at Mr. Pendenski. Mom says we don't have to dig any more holes. That's great, Stanley said. Will you do me a favor? Asked Squid. I guess, Stanley agreed, somewhat hesitantly. I want you to... He turned to Miss Marengo. Hey, lady, you have a pen and paper I can borrow? She gave it to him, and Squid wrote down a phone number, which he gave to Stanley. Call my mom for me, okay? Tell her I said I was sorry. Tell her Alan said he was sorry. Stanley promised he would. Now you be careful out in the real world, said Armpit. Not everyone is as nice as us. Stanley smiled. The boys departed when the warden came out of the office. The Attorney General was right behind her. My office is having some difficulty locating Hector Zeroni's records, the Attorney General said. So you have no claim of authority over him? Asked Miss Marengo. I didn't say that. He's in the computer. We just can't access his records. It's like they've fallen through a hole in cyberspace. A hole in cyberspace? Miss Marengo repeated. How interesting. When is his release date? I don't know. How long has he been here? Like I said, we can't. So what are you planning to do with him? Keep him confined indefinitely without justification while you go crawling through black holes in cyberspace? The Attorney General stared at her. He was obviously incarcerated for a reason. Oh, and what reason was that? The Attorney General said nothing. Stanley's lawyer took hold of Zero's hand. Come on, Hector, you're coming with us. Oh, goodness, a lot is going on here. I noticed that they asked for the file, but apparently it's been misplaced, or I don't know where it went. The Attorney General said that he would get the records, but when he reappeared, he just asked to talk to the warden. Uh-oh. When you asked to be talked to, I don't know, it's never really a good thing, right? So off to the side, I wrote, Zero's file is missing. Attorney General calls his office for the records and then demands to talk to the warden. Ooh. I also noticed a key event on the other side that Mr. Pendensky had let the other boys know that Stanley's going to be released. And I noticed that there's a lot of silly names here. I noticed Caveman is the same person as Stanley, but they call him Caveman. I noticed there's other characters called Armpit and Squid and X-Ray and Zigzag and all these other different names that the boys have been called, almost like a nickname. And so just to make note that there's other characters here. Next, we find out that the boys don't have to dig any more holes. Squid is asking for a favor, and Stanley, being a good friend, definitely wants to help him out and do that favor for him and agree to doing that favor. So off to the side, I wanted to make a note, little mini summary that Stanley's friends find out he is released. They don't have to dig holes, and Squid asks for a favor, and Stanley agrees to that favor. And then the next section is where things get very exciting again. We realize that the Attorney General cannot find Hector Zeroni's or Zero's file. Uh-oh. It doesn't seem very organized and seem very good for an Attorney General's office. And at the end, we know that the lawyer does not seem very happy with that, right? The lawyer is very mad that they don't have any information, and she's questioning them, like, well, what's his release date? When are you planning to do that? Just keep him here forever? Oh, so she definitely took him out of there. So off to the side, I wanted to write the Attorney General's office can't locate Zero's files. Stanley lawyer argues with the Attorney General, which ends with Zero leaving with her and Stanley. We're going to continue inferencing here. We inferenced last week. It's not actually written in the text, but I'm wondering this today, how does Stanley feel about Zero? And how do you know? It doesn't actually really ever tell me. Stanley, feels this way about Zero, but I can make a guess based on how he was acting, what Stanley was saying, anything like that. So I want you to use evidence from the text to support your answer of how does Stanley feel about Zero? How do you know that? Write your response in the box below. Thanks for following along with this excerpt with me. This is a very fun story, so if you have enough time to read the book, it's a fabulous book. I am still thinking about this excerpt, though, and I'm still wondering, man, oh man, the Attorney General's office is not very organized when it comes to Zero's file. I wonder, are they part of the government? Isn't the Attorney General part of the government? Do you think the Attorney General is really influencing Zero's life right now? In a good way or in a bad way? I wonder what part of the government the Attorney General is part of. We will find out more tomorrow.